Greetings everybody. My name is Bani. I am a 19-year-old law student and this video is for my social internship that I am currently doing with the West Bengal Human Rights Council. In this video, I am going to talk to you about the female feticide and female genital mutilation. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. This shloka means that gods reside where women are worshipped. This shloka was an essential part of the Manusmriti, but in today's India, it seems like a joke to me. Killing unborn girls, abandoning newborn girls, paying less salary in jobs, rapes, harassment. These are some harsh realities of today's India. The act of identifying the gender of a child in a mother's womb and aborting it if it is a girl is known as female feticide. And it is not due to an unwanted pregnancy, but rather due to deeper causes.
Living and practicing as a gynecologist in India, it is quite routine for me to be asked to do a sex determination test on a pregnant woman. It is quite disheartening to see women bear the burden of multiple childbirths, abortions, and bear tremendous society pressure, family pressure in order to produce a male child, something which is completely out of her hands anyway. I refuse, of course, but they continue the search unrelentingly. Things are changing though, as women gain more and more financial independence and education increases in the society. The stringent PCPNDT Act has also played a major deterrent role in controlling the rampant sex determination. However, things will need to change a lot more, and a lot more society conditioning is required and financial empowerment is required before this becomes universally true. But it is nice to see many young couples happily welcoming their children irrespective of the gender.
Over the last 50 years, India has accounted for 45.8 million of the world's 142.6 million missing females according to a UN report. On 5th June, I read a newspaper article which talked about a boatman in Uttar Pradesh who saved a 21-day-old newborn girl who was found floating in a wooden box along Ganga's river's bank. She was wrapped in a religious cloth and the box was decorated with God's pictures. A piece of paper stating daughter of the Ganga with incense sticks were also placed alongside the baby girl. The irony here is that people worship Hindu goddesses every day. But when it comes to having a child, however, they wish and pray for a boy. Some families even perform special rituals and sacrifices for the same. You know, in some families, if a woman does not give birth to a male child after marriage, they are beaten. They are sent away to their parents' houses. And in some cases, they are also murdered. Female genital mutilation, or FGM, is a practice that involves partial or complete removal of the external female genitalia. It causes intense bleeding, complications during the delivery, and an increased chances of mortality. FGM is an abuse of the human rights of girls and young women. More than 200 million girls and women are still living today in African, Middle Eastern, and Asian nations who have faced this practice. Female genital cutting, like many other weird customs, has been ingrained so deeply in a society where it is practiced that many people in those societies see this as so common that they cannot even imagine a woman not undergoing this procedure. A disturbing truth about this practice is that it is performed on women by women. In Africa, FGM is known to be practiced among certain communities in 29 countries. Egypt, which has a law against this horror, has the value of 91% females who've been a victim to this. Ethnic groups in India also perform this. In South America, certain communities are known to practice FGM in Colombia, Ecuador, Panama and Peru. This practice, it is carried out by glass or razor blades, and anesthetics and antiseptics are not used unless this procedure is carried out for medical reasons. In some communities, the girls' legs are bound together for 2 to 3 weeks, which allows the formation of a scar tissue. Standing up for any basic human right can be extremely difficult. Protecting young girls and women in India and around the world is and will always be a difficult task. However, it may be the only option to bring these issues to light and put an end to it. But ignorance about the issue is life-threatening. Yes, laws are there, yes, and they are used for punishment. But talking about them on every platform we can raise awareness. It can help desperate people in confronting the dominant and ultimately influence not only what individuals do, but also what they believe is right. It can help create awareness about it and maybe even curb it. Otherwise, you need to take this into your hands now. And as Sheryl Sandberg has said, and I quote, "We need women at all levels, including the top, to change the dynamic, to reshape the conversation, to make sure that women's voices are heard and heeded, not overlooked and ignored. We need to tell the world that we are women, and yes, that is our superpower. That's what we, as the future of the country, can and need to do." Thank you.